be aware first and foremost why it is you want to do what you want to do. If you are sure of the fact of there is value and merit in what you want to do, then you will never give up. Now, you can have professionals, people who are very successful, tell you that you can't do it. But if your passion and your reason for doing it is strong enough and you have a definiteness of purpose, you will achieve it no matter what anybody says to you. It is doable. You just have to have the correct passion. If you're doing it for money's sake, there's a chance that it could fail. But if you're doing it for the right reason and you truly believe in it and nothing's going to stop you, go for it. Give it everything you have. Seek mentorship. Seek to learn things. Seek to understand things in your own way.
Yeah.
But understand it in your own way and implement it in your way. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it.
That's what I did with Jim Rohn. When I first heard Jim Rohn, I'm like, this guy sounds very annoying. I'm like, I'm not listening to this person. And then I found out like he was like Tony Robbins' mentor. I was like, oh, I'm like, okay.
No, I have to listen to him.
I'm gonna listen. 4-hour talk later, I'm like, this man is so wise, so amazing. And now I love his voice. I hear his voice and I'm like, oh, there it is.
There's gonna be some nuggets coming out today.
Exactly. Oh man. I was gonna do an intro, but because of our talk and everything, I've forgotten all my questions.
Perfect.
And I don't even know what to call you anymore.
What is this, dude?
Yeah, I don't even know what to say anymore. So I guess I could just prep you with every 30 minutes, I'm going to have to get up and hit this camera and hit that camera. Probably going to have these headphones on to make sure that we sound right.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I guess all I can say to everybody is this is the process where we talk to people about mindset, habits, behaviors, and performance. And I'm speaking with Brandon V. Should I just go with Brandon V?
Just go with Brandon V.
There you go.
That's fine.
Right. Man, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. You know what? I got to say that my full name is Brandon Vidalingam. Now you can understand why I go with Brandon V. And I got to say, I probably had my V before Gary had his. So
I thought of that.
Absolutely. my age predates his V.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just want to get into mindset. Like I told you, when I saw things on your Facebook profile, I saw a founder, I saw a co-founder, I saw a Canadian pioneer, which really stood out. I saw a lot of different things, but all of them together showed me a mindset that most people don't have, right? There's a lot of people who are 48, but they never get those type of accolades. So let's just start out by like, I guess let's start with where did your journey begin with everything?
Wow. Since we're talking about mindset, I mean, the first thing I would say is to write a title for somebody is one of the easiest things to do. You know, I could literally go to online and set up a company and say I'm the CEO, the chief director of whatever, you know, the CEO, the VP. I can assign a title and put business cards and so on and so forth. So titles don't hold weight. It attracts people, but it doesn't hold weight.
Yeah.
What holds weight is the experience behind it. You know, when you can prove that you have the experience to be a VP or somebody like that, that's what holds weight, and how you treat other people. And I think it all comes down to, again, you know, just going back to the whole mindset situation. That whole mindset started from when I was very, very young. Wanting everybody to win and sharing and feeling other people's emotions. I think that's one of the biggest things that happened. And I think the time when it was most prevalent was at a time when I was about in my very early teens. And I remember we were walking through the area I used to live in South London in the UK. And we were with two friends, my brother and my cousin. And we were walking past a garbage can, and we saw a garbage can, and my cousin saw a £10 note in there. In those days, it was quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we walked past it, and he wanted to say, he's like, I just saw a £10 note. I'm like, dude, you saw a £10 note. It's in the garbage can. Obviously, somebody left it there, but I'm saying, no, it's not ours. We can't touch it. I'm like, look, it's in the garbage, and nobody's going to take it. It's probably going to get thrown out. Let's go back and get it. So we got back and got it. And then when my brother and our two friends saw we had this £10 note, oh, we found it in the garbage. Oh, that's mine. That's mine. Oh, I had it. Or it should be mine. And this argument ensued, and it infuriated me because I was like, here's two friends, my brother and my cousin, and everybody's arguing about this £10 note that it should be theirs. When in reality, it didn't really belong to anybody. So because of this argument, it infuriated me, and we were going this back and forth, and I eventually turned around and said, okay, so everybody believes it's theirs, right? And they said, yes. So I said, great, okay. And I ripped up the £10 note, and I gave everybody a piece. And they got mad at me, and I said, well, look, we had this £10 note that we could have gone out and bought some candy and stuff for all of us. Mm-hmm. Instead, we started to argue with each other about who takes ownership of this.
Okay.
And because of that, that was the first time that I realized that that it's easier to share with everybody than to take from people, and how very quickly people can turn against each other when, you know, greed gets in the way, or money gets in the way, or certain thought patterns get in the way. So that's kind of where it all started.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're holding court right away.
Yeah.
Tearing up money.
Tearing up money.
Wow.
Money doesn't really have, it's not the money, it's what the money can do.
Yeah, right.
So there's a whole mindset behind money. And there's greed, there's want, there's need, there's possession. Whereas when you think beyond the money of what can I do with this money, and just, you know, we were having this conversation a little bit earlier about cars and houses. There's only so many cars you can have, only so many houses you can own, only so many Rolexes. Once you have all those material things, then what? What do you do? How can you live a life of purpose once you have all these things? And you realize that most of the people who have made crazy amounts of money have got all those things, and then realized that it really didn't fill a hole.
Yeah.
So they became philanthropists, and they started giving. And that's where they found the joy. And when you realize to make money, first of all, obviously to protect yourself, protect your family, have that security to make sure there's no one to need. So you're actually removing finances out of the equation. Now you can utilize that money, which is the abundance of money, to be able to go out and help other people. And when you think about how can I help others? How can I help others? There's a lot more joy in that thought pattern than how can I make money to buy stuff.
Yeah.
Right? You know, should you get some toys and stuff? Absolutely. You know, you worked hard for it, but then there's a soul payment that comes with giving to others than to trying to accumulate more. You know, you get part-time enjoyment, and most of the time, let's face it, people who are buying those things are doing it for the betterment of other people, because they want to show, look how successful I am, look at my car, you know, let me get the blingiest, shiniest things that people notice. So, you know, if I go out, I mean, I have an iWatch, but if somebody goes out and has, you know, like a Rolex, a diamond Rolex, they're going to look and people are going to go, wow, he's worth something because he has a Rolex. I could be sitting with 20 million inside my bank right now and have a cheap watch on. What does that mean? Is it for the betterment of other people or the betterment of me? So if you want to show other people how rich you are, that's one thing. But if you want to show other people how rich you are spiritually and in your mind by helping people, that's a richness that can't be bought.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. So then with all that said, how would you describe your mindset? How would you describe that mindset?
I would describe that mindset is that you find that most people who have this similar mindset have gone through a lot of pain. And generally people who have suffered in life have been knocked down. You have two choices when you're knocked down. Mm-hmm. Either you stay down or you get up. Yeah. You know, I lost my father at a very young age. It was just my mother and my brother. My brother moved out to Canada when he was young, in his late teens. So it was really my mother and myself. And I didn't really have any education. A lot of people think, well, you're a VP, you're this, you're that, great, you must have a lot of education, a lot of knowledge. Well, no, I didn't. I did terribly at school. But what I did go to was a school of hard knocks. The streets can teach you something that nobody else can.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the best of the best. I didn't have money, always scraped for money, hustled for money, did some bad things for money. It's that lifestyle that you get into and you feel, well, maybe this is the way. But then you kind of get out of that and you get into other jobs and you get on the job training and experiences. And everything I've learned has been through a physical experience, because I'm terrible in school and terrible with reading. I'm terrible with so many other things to take that information in. But if I do something with my hands or if I experience it, it kind of locks it in. And through being knocked down consistently over and over and over again, each time I got up with more experience than I had. And then I moved forward, and then I got knocked down again. I got up with more experience. So success is not really success. Failure is really success. Because the more times you're willing to fail and get up and fail again, the more chance you have of getting the tools that you need to be able to succeed in the way that you need to.
Yeah.
So through that consistent failure, I learned the tools to succeed. Now, I wouldn't say that I'm there yet. There's still a long way to go. Again, still in our businesses, there's curveballs, there's speed bumps, there's so many things that we didn't know about, but you don't give up.
Yeah.
You say, okay, well, this has come. How can I learn from this? How can I do this better? Or how do I reposition things to keep on moving forward? Sometimes you have to slow down to speed up.
Yeah.
We've had a business that should have launched a year ago, but we stopped. We took we reset everything. We looked at it from different angles. Said, what should we do? How should we move forward? How can we make this happen? Always holding the morals in mind, because if you don't start out with the end game, you have to know the end game. You have to set the vision of what is it you're trying to accomplish and why you're trying to accomplish it. Because if you're just going out to make money, you'll be the biggest pauper on the face of the planet. If you're going out to deliver value to people, something that can really truly help, you take the focus off the finances. Now you have to understand the numbers, because that's the daily game of business.
Yeah.
But to understand the numbers and take your mind off it, but focus on delivering value to people. Because when you can deliver value to people, it changes everything. The focus is not on the money. The more value to deliver to somebody, the more money you'll make. Because the proportion of value and money, the money you make and the value you give, the value that you're giving is always higher than the money that you're making. So if you're making 10 million a year, the value that you're giving is so much better. Okay. Now, yes, there's other people who can make it through just sheer greed, but there's other people who can do it the right way. But when you do it the right way, you find that there's a lot more joy. You find that people who are doing it the way that they want to do it have a lot of stress, have a lot of pain, have a lot of lawsuits against them, have a lot of things coming towards them. But when you're delivering value and you're seeking to do something of good, and that is the mainstay of what you're doing and why you're doing it, there's a consistent joy that helps you wake up every morning to continue doing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's really true. Can you take the transponder out and just put it there?
Yeah,
it's cutting
sure.
out from time to time,
Okay.
just to make sure. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's like what you were saying, the ripples in the pond, right? Like, I mean, if you're putting in the negative ripples,
Yeah.
if you're throwing in a negative stone, you're going to get negative ripples back.
Absolutely.
Right? So, can you speak at all? What I hear a lot of speakers talk about is living in service, and when you kind of just said all that, it kind of lends itself to that. Do you believe in that, living in service?
Yeah, I believe in living in service is huge, because living in service is really a reason to do something for other people. Okay, it's, again, you've got the opposite flip side of living in money, which is let's go out and make a ton of money. Okay,
Yeah.
but living in service is starting off with where can I help somebody? How can I lift somebody else's life up, or their mindset up, or show them that there's a way out of where they're at, or give them the tools to be able to move forward, or just value, something that you've got that you can take, that you can absorb for free, that you can take, and it can change your life in some way, shape, or form. So when you're seeking to do things to be of service to other people, you're constantly in this position of, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? And when you're seeking to help other people, that's living a life and having a business of service. And I feel those businesses work 10 times better because there's just a sheer amount of joy. And with that, if there's joy, there's a vibration that you vibrate at. Because you know you're doing something right, you're proud of it, you're happy with it, you know it's going to change somebody's life for the better, then what happens, you start to vibrate at a different frequency. And then what happens, that your business partners, the people who work for you, the people who, your employees, everybody's vibrating at a great level because there's joy, there's pride, there's happiness, there's, no, we're doing something good in the world. Then what happens out of it? It starts to grow because now it starts to attract more of that.
Yeah.
Your business does well because you're attracting people who want what you have. But now doors open in different other areas, and you can see where, oh, I can deliver value here, I can be of service here, we can be of service here, our company can do this and be of service here. So when you live that's, you know, being a servant leader, being a servant and having a life of service in your business and in your personal life, then you're in that position that you bring so much more abundance to be able to give more, which makes you happier, more proud, and then brings about more. So you have this consistent influx. And so long as you're doing that, there's just joy throughout your company.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I always say that you should live a life that you can like tell everybody about.
Yes.
You don't have to keep anything from anybody about.
Yeah. When you hide from people, or you have to think twice, should I say this? Should I not? Should I tell you about it? Should I not? Then there's something that you're uncomfortable about. When you can stand in any environment and say, yes, this is what I do, and you're happy to tell them, and you know that other people will see it in the way it's meant to be, instead of a sales pitch, and you're proud of what it is you have, and I'm hearing this story.
Yeah.
Then people relate to you in a different way. Whereas if you're not so much and you try and push it, then it becomes a sales pitch. And there's something a little bit sleazy about that. People feel like, oh my gosh, here you go, you're trying to sell me. So that's kind of a very different kind of take on things. And you're right, you know, when you're proud to be able to tell anybody and everybody about it, it works. It means your mind and your spirit are in the same place and the same accord, and you're doing something that's helping people.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So what stood out to me when you were talking, you said the school of hard knocks, and you said you had to do some bad things. I've been there too, and I've had to do a lot of bad things myself. That brings me to like behaviors. Less about what behaviors you needed to implement, but like what behaviors did you need to get rid of? What behaviors and habits did you need to get rid of in order to become this self?
You know, I don't think I really needed to. What I needed to get rid of was the people around me. That was the first thing I needed to do, because my mother always said company effects. And I never really understood that as to what it was until I was actually in it. And there's the good and the bad of that. Company effects. When you're in a group of bad people, people who do bad things, it's inevitable that you're going to, no matter how good you are, you're going to end up doing that same thing if you have more of them than there are of you. And because they're saying to you, it's okay to do this. Don't worry, you're with us. And then you believe it's okay to do that, even though you know it's intrinsically wrong. So you go ahead and you do it, or you try it, and you're like, okay, well, nothing happened. Okay, let's go a little bit further. Let's go a little bit further. Yeah. And before you know it, you're like so far down the rabbit hole, you're like, whoa, who is this? But then again, you're in the same situation. If you're an average person and you hang around with, 4 millionaires, and you hang around with them every day, you will be the 5th millionaire.
Yeah.
Just because of the association, the conversations they have, they inspire you to level up. because you can't go to the places that they go. You can't drive the car that they drive. You can't live in the house that they. But when you hear the conversation, it inspires you to do more. And when you start to do more, you start to open your door. You open your doors. You open your mind to be able to receive more. To say, how do I? When you have that, how do I? Now you're ready to start taking moves. And the moment you start taking moves, you're in this positive mindset to start attracting things to you.
Yeah.
So, either way it can go. It can go in a positive way, it can go in a bad way. But, the first thing was I had to remove myself from the people I was around because I knew that I would continue doing the things that I was doing. Once I removed myself away from that, it gave me a space and time to reflect. When you can reflect on some of the things that you've done, because you're not doing it anymore, you're in that position where you're thinking to yourself, why did I do that? You question yourself. Why did I do that?
Yeah.
And then trying to come up with the answers for it makes you realize that you've done more harm than good to yourself and to others. And when you realize and you come to that realization that you've harmed people for your benefit, or you've harmed yourself, your body for the benefit of nothing, there's no gain, there's no win there. And sometimes you feel guilty, sometimes you feel disgusted with yourself, especially if you're outside, because when you're with those people, they make it right. But when you're outside of that and you're the person questioning it, you have to internalize your view on, why did I do that? Why did I do these things? What was making me do that? And then to me personally, I said, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be more to life than this.
Yeah.
Because I knew I should have been dead at least 3 to 4 times. Easily. And when I replay those situations, I'm like, is this what life is about? Is this what my life is about? That eventually I'm going to keep on doing these things, I'm going to end up dead somewhere or in prison. Does this mean something? Is this what's going to be on my tombstone?
Yeah.
This is what I've given back to society. This is how I lived my life. And I question myself, is this what it's all about? There's got to be more. And the moment I said, there's got to be more, I opened myself to a view of removing myself from the past, looking towards the future, to be like, there has to be more. So when I removed my view from always living in the past, which is where I lived most of my life, in the past, with my father passing away when I was very young, with me not being at his funeral, and just being bullied and picked on in a very racist area that I used to go to school with, just the people I hung around, just all those things, just living in that situation and it being my daily routine and always focusing on it, I removed my focus and I started looking towards the future to be like, what is the possibilities for me? Once I started to understand what are the possibilities, I had to be like, well, I've got to look for them. But throughout all this time, I went into a situation where I went to a psychiatrist because I had this big depression hang up with my father, and not having closure there. And I went to the psychiatrist and spent a long time with the psychiatrist. That first one, eminent psychiatrist, said, yes, don't worry, I'm going to help you. I had one session, she said, I have nothing to say to you at the end. I don't think I can help you. And I walked out of there and I was gobsmacked. I was like, are you kidding me? And I was walking down the street in shock whilst laughing. Just in this, oh my gosh, this is it, game over, it's finished.
Yeah.
Then as I'm walking, I'm playing through. So what I was realizing is that I was seeking help from girlfriends, from my friends, from the things that I was doing that were wrong, from my mother, from my family members, from everybody else. I was seeking for them to fix this, to help me through this, help me.
Yeah.
And nobody could. And that's when I came to the realization that the only person I didn't turn to help was myself. And the moment I realized that I was the last person who I turned to, I realized that I'm the person who has to help myself. And from that moment, that realization, realizing that everything's in my hands instead of other people's hands, I started to take control of my own life. And I started to do things to help me. And as I started to do things to help me, I realized the power that I had, even though I still kept on getting knocked down. Still didn't have success, getting knocked down, some successes, mainly failures, some successes, mainly failures. Yeah. And every time I got knocked down, I learned something new. So the thing that I realized is that failure is my teacher. And I never look at it as a negative situation. I just look at it like, look, I don't want to go to a motivational seminar. I want to go to a failure seminar.
Yeah.
Tell me everything that you did wrong and I can bypass it, you know?
That's true.
That's amazing. I want to hear people's failures because failures are food for success.
Yeah.
Failure is the food of success. Success is success.
Mm.
But what happens before it? People are talking about, oh, I'm successful because I did this, I did that, I did that. But people don't want to hear about the breakdowns that you had to get the breakthroughs, to have the success.
Yeah, it's like failures.
80% of it's all failure.
Yeah.
I always say entrepreneurs live in the gutter.
Mm.
People are like, what? Entrepreneurs live in the gutter.
Yeah.
They are scraping for food. They're scraping for money. They're scraping to pay bills. They're scraping for places to stay. They're scraping. They're living in the gutter, just crawling through. Whilst other people have jobs and like, I have a car, I go on vacation, I do this. Yes, an entrepreneur will scrape in the gutter for as long as they need to. But the moment that catalyst happens, people are like, why are you there? Come on.
Yeah.
And that's why they always look down on entrepreneurs. Why are you there? You could have this, you could have that, you could do this. No, because I have a vision. And I'll scrape in the gutter for my vision. And I'll crawl through it. And people will throw their garbage in there. People will spit on it. People will negative. People do all those things while you're scraping through. But the moment you hit that catalyst and you've pushed that boulder over the hill and it starts to go down, it starts to pick up speed and momentum kicks in.
Yeah.
That's when you hit it. And your 20, 30 years or 5 years, no matter what it is, of grind, of being in the gutter, could take you. You got somebody who's working 40 hours or more than 40, call it 80 hours a week for 40 years of their life in different jobs, trying to get through and trying to make ends meet. But really, they're showing this outward thing of, oh, this is my life, I'm successful, I'm good. Well, literally, they're like one notch below the drowning point. Okay, we're being real. Entrepreneurs have to be real. They're scraping in the gun. And I'll be, as an entrepreneur, and you know, even in some cases, been in really bad situations.
Yeah.
You know, had to borrow money. You know, had to do things, had to make those decisions. But that's the reality of an entrepreneur's life, because you're living off of the vision of what it is you're going to do. And you believe it with so much, with every essence in your being, that it's impossible for it not to happen. Because the day it happens and it catapults you way to the top, everybody else who said no will say, I knew you'd do it. But they'll be the first people to be at your party. Right?
Yeah.
But that's it. You know, entrepreneurs live in the gutter. They suffer. And when you're there with a lot of other people, but you see the world and you see life from a different point of view. Because you're suffering. But you're suffering for a cause. And when you hit that and you make it, there's so much blessing that you have so much gratitude and humbleness, because you can remember the times when you didn't have those things, when you had to eat a tin of beans, you know, for dinner, you know, when you're about to be kicked out of a place and you got, you know, your wife and your 2 little babies, and you're going to be kicked out the next day and you're walking the street. This is real. You know, I had to walk the street and I was crying my eyes out because I'm like, what a failure. What a failure I was. And it hurt because I had nowhere to go. I had nobody to call on. And then just, you have to let that humanity out. Let it release. Because once it released and I got it out and I cried out my system, I went back home and I was like, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? Let me find the way. And we found the way. We found the way. We made it happen. We got through. We're not where we want to be right now, but we're along that path, because the journey, it's where it's at. The journey teaches you so much about yourself. And when you look at other people, successful people, poor people, middle-range people, you can relate to every step of those people. That you can look at that and you can say, I know where you're at because I feel it, because I've been there. And when you can do that, you have so much more gratitude for what it is you have, that what you want to do is try and give it away. And when you can give it away out of the abundance, because you've created the machine that gives the abundance, and when you can do that and you can take that and you can touch people's hearts by saying, I care about you, here you go, here's your rent, here's your car payment, here's your groceries, here's this. not, as we said, not making a huge check with a company name and using it for marketing purposes, but you go one-on-one and you touch somebody's heart. How can that change that one person?
Yeah.
How could that change that one person to believe there's humanity, there's there's people in the world who care about other people, that may set them on a path or be the catalyst to something great that they can do in their life?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So it sounds like, I mean, like from the question that I asked, like what you had to get rid of more so than the behavior that you had to take on was openness.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of openness had to come in order for all this to happen.
Being real with yourself.
Yeah.
Not candy coating anything, not everything's gonna be fine, or giving excuses for anything. It's being real. Yeah. Being honest with yourself. And that's when it's the whole situation is self-awareness. Because many people are walking around with a lack of self-awareness. Yeah. What they're walking around is a celebrity costume. Right?
Their Instagram costume.
Their Instagram costume. And even when I'm on Instagram, when I'm on Facebook and stuff, I say to people, look, listen, hardships. Because I'd much rather work with somebody who's real with themselves, who I know has had failure. Because if you've had failure, I know you've had success. And if you've had success, I know I can follow you.
Yeah.
If somebody's going to come out the womb and just be successful and that's it, great, done. I don't trust that. If somebody just shows me all their success, I don't trust it. If you can show me your failures, I can believe your successes. Yeah. And you can lead me, because it means if you know the failures, it means you can direct me around the landmines because you've been there.
I say that with people when I see somebody who's like just getting it and like it's just success. I'm like you work at Apple.
Yeah.
I'm like you're just working at Apple.
That's a great analogy. Yeah.
And not like when it started. Like you're working at Apple like now.
That's it. Absolutely. It's done it. Well done.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I actually really needed to hear this. As I told you about my situation and everything. This is a good thing to hear. It's like a free therapy session.
We learn, because every time I speak, there's things I hear, because there's different ways I say things depending on who's asking the question. And I learn something new about myself, but then also there's other things that you hear from other people, and you learn from them, and there's everybody to learn from. It doesn't matter. I learn things from my kids. You can learn things from a bag person on the street, from a homeless person. You can learn nuggets of knowledge.
How do you know how to do that? How do you know how to answer something based on who's asking?
Here's the first thing. Listen. But don't just listen with your ears. Listen with your being. Most people listen with their head. Yeah. When you listen with your head, you're listening to answer. You're listening to be like, let me catch what you say so I can quickly answer you. When you listen, when you open your being up, your essence of who you are, to absorb what it is you're saying, because you don't just speak in words, you speak in words and you speak in vibration. When you speak in vibration, I absorb your vibration to understand what it is you're saying. Because I can hear words and say something, but understanding what is behind the words is to absorb them. When you absorb them and you let them penetrate you, and you feel it, and you're like, okay, I believe I have the understanding to this. Now let me answer to you. So you can have different walks of life, different ethnicities, different experiences, and have them ask the same question, and everybody will ask it from their point of view. Yeah. When they ask it from their point of view, they're asking it in a very slightly different way. To be able to answer it is to be able to answer it to that person. Yeah. To be able to answer it to that person, you have to absorb that person. So you have to open yourself up to be like, instead of let me just hear you, let me see you. Mm-hmm. Let me absorb you. Let me understand what it is you're saying. Because in order to give you the correct answer, I have to understand what it is that you're saying. Yeah. So I think when we intently listen to people, and we take a second, if you have the answer and you have absorbed it, you can get it faster. But you have to stop and be like, okay, I get the question. Mm-hmm. Now let me answer it.
Yeah, that's true. You have to know where someone's coming from in order to answer properly.
Absolutely.
Aside from everything that we're talking about, how did you become such a good speaker? Besides the accent. I know you can't teach the accent.
My wife will totally agree with you there. My wife and my mother. You know, it's how did I become a good speaker? I've spent. I grew up very, very shy. And very scared of people. Very shy.
Me too.
Always wanted to hide away, blend into the background. But I was. I think one of the things that kind of got me out in front of people is I became a percussionist, a drummer in a band at the age of 14.
Oh.
And I had to go up on stage and play the drums in front of people. So that kind of got me in front of people. And I did it enough to get comfortable with being in front of people, that people are watching.
Okay.
Still get those little jitters at the beginning, you know, I think it's human nature, but it just kind of moves along and you get through it. The other thing is that I've spent 28 years in the network marketing industry.
Okay.
In many, many different companies. I got to be honest, majority of those years was just like social club. I'm just doing it because somebody else is telling me it. But over the past, I would say about 7 to 8 years is when it really got serious. And we were being mentored by multi-million-dollar earners, which usually people pay big bucks to stand in front of people like that and be mentored.
Definitely.
So we helped bring a company into Canada, and we had to do a lot of the speaking, a lot of the events, and so on and so forth. And when there's nobody else in the market who can do that for you, and sometimes the people are trying to fly in and they won't be let into the country for some reason or whatever, and you've got to do it, then you're in this position like, oh my gosh, you know, we have to. So you kind of get up and you start doing presentations. So you have to speak in front of people. Then you start doing meetings. You start doing this. You start doing the big events. And those things become your training. And I think through that, it became one of the best trainings that I ever had, because it got myself and my wife in front of people, got us learning new things, pushed us, failed many times within that to push us to new levels of being able to speak and get the message over. Yeah. And we had to train people. So we had to train people to understand, because remember, you're not training people who are getting paid to do a job.
Of course.
You have to motivate a volunteer army into action.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's a skill set that it took multi-million-dollar earners to teach us how to do that. You know, no, do it this way, do it that way. Remember, you know, and when you learn that and you understand that, then you fail, get better. But you're never going to, if you continue doing it, no matter how bad you suck, you're never going to suck more than you did the time before.
Yeah. So
you're always going to get better and better and better. And then from that, you know, I got onto a radio show, at a radio show called The Breakthrough Show. And that went really well. And I learned a different skill set of being like an interviewer on a radio show. And I interviewed some of the most amazing people in Toronto. That gave me some really valuable, amazing feedback, again, which helped me grow. Still a lot of growth. I always say, until the day I die, I'm still going to keep on growing. There's still stuff for me to learn.
Yeah.
You know, because you have to be humble. You have to be open to, I don't know everything. Because there's been times where I've let ego take center stage. And no, I know this. And then somebody else who's better comes down and tells you something. You're like, oh. And you realize you don't know what you don't know. Or you realize I believed something, and then somebody else came in and taught me something different, or elevated my understanding of that situation. So now I've kind of got to the point where I know a lot, but I don't know everything. And I can always learn better of what I do know. So when people speak, I want to listen. It's like, okay, talk. Let me understand what it is you're saying, because there's going to be, I'm going to walk out of here the better, because I've allowed you to talk and for me to listen. Yeah. And that's really where it's at.
So again, openness.
Openness
is a big factor there.
Openness and being real, being humble. You know, ego's great, but, you know, don't let it get in the way. Don't let it shut you down. And understand that there's always room to learn, no matter who it's from, no matter where you get it from, no matter what the age is. You know, if you're listening enough, you'll learn more.
Okay. So let's talk about habits. What kind of habits do you need?
Good habits, bad habits?
I would say the good ones. Like, what habits did you find? Like, you started getting mentored by these multi-million dollar earners. I listen to a lot of people who are billionaires, and stuff like that via the web. Obviously, I'm not in front of them. A lot of digital mentors, and a lot of them talk about different habits. What habits did you have to take on in order to like evolve and become better?
So I think, exactly that. I mean, I'm not a very good reader. I never have been. I don't like reading. I get lost when I read. And something has to really encapsulate me. If I'm really going to say it, there's only 3 books I've ever read in my whole entire life from beginning to end. There's many books I've started, many I've looked in the middle, many I've took little bits and pieces out of, but there's only 3 books I've read from beginning to end. Now, in this world, we have many different ways to take in information. We're so blessed that we don't just have to read. We can listen to, things on TV, on YouTube, on, Netflix, on CDs, on MP3s, on our phone. There's so many different sources to be able to get free information.
Yes.
To build ourselves that we have access to. Here's the problem. Is the habit is not taking the information, because we have access to it. So people can't say, oh, well, I don't have access. Yes, you have access to it. What makes you want to listen to it or watch it or read it? Whatever that is to you. Now, the situation that people can be is that they can read, watch, do all that thing, and take the information and become head knowledge. Have head knowledge. One of my mentors turned around and said something. What does practice make?
Perfect. That's what people say.
That's what people say. What practice makes is permanent. That's what practice makes. But here's the catalyst between the two. What if you're practicing something incorrectly? You just made it permanent, right?
Yeah.
So it takes somebody else to look in or to be the instructor, be it on video, a book, or whatever, to help you practice the right thing.
Yeah.
Not to make it perfect, to make it permanent.
Yeah.
Okay? So when you have external mentors, whatever form that comes in, to be able to look in on what you're doing, knowledge is
power.
Knowledge isn't power.
Yeah.
And these are things I learned. I had exactly the same things, but this is what people hear.
Of course.
Knowledge is power. Practice makes perfect, But when you break it down, knowledge made you dumb. Okay? And people are like, what do you mean knowledge makes you dumb? Knowledge has just made you dumb. Unless you practice it. Because you're in a position where once upon a time you didn't know something. Now you don't know what you don't know. But the moment you read about it, watch about it, understand about it, now you know about it. But if you know about it and you don't act upon it, now you're worse off than you were before, because now you know what you don't know. But the moment you take that knowledge and you put it into practice, practiced knowledge is power, because now you're implementing it.
Yeah, applying.
And what a lot of people do is that they read, they watch, they take in all the information, but they take it to be able to tell other people about it, so other people see how smart they are. Hence, ego sits in front. Now you have your celebrity cloak on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You get it.
It's very true, yeah.
But when you have somebody who is practicing the knowledge to actually see it, now you have that external mentor to look at. Now you're practicing it. Now you make it permanent by having it done right.
Yeah.
To get it done.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, of course.
And that's one of the key things that I learned is understanding, if I'm to intake information, I have to practice it. And if I practice it, I have to make sure I'm practicing it correctly to make it permanent, to bring about the success. So the habits of doing that, because look, we talk about success habits.
Yeah.
And I go against the grain. And here's the problem. Everybody is different. Everybody has different cultures. Everybody has different beliefs. Everybody has different experiences. Everybody has different mindsets. I could take something where somebody says, this doesn't work to help people become successful, who will take that and make it successful.
Of course.
It's happened many, many times. Okay? But then that person may not be able to do what this person's doing. Because of each person, there's different... How we have to understand it is that we are given tool belts. There's tools out there. There's a plethora of tools of so many different ways.
Yeah.
The person who has the desire to get to the finish line, whatever that is for them, because success to different people is a different thing. Okay? It's not the same thing. So whatever success is for you, whatever it is you're looking to do, being successful and being like, I've made it in life, maybe trying to be the best father, maybe trying to be a pilot, maybe trying to, fly a kite. It's different for different people. It's not always about money and having things.
Yeah.
So whatever success is for that person, if they go out and they learn it and they implement it, the tools are out there. From your state of mind, from your thought pattern, from how you think, your experiences, so on and so forth, if you have the understanding of what is the tools that you need for you as a person, of what stage of life you're in, you take those things and you implement them, use it, make it happen, bring about the action. Okay? Now, for somebody else, they may be on a business tip, but they may need different tools because they may be in a different understanding, because people learn in a different way, learn at a different speed, need different things. Like some people think, oh man, if you go to this motivational thing and they're going to cheer you up and you're going to get really excited and you're going to come out, people who go to those things, I say, you just, it's like a can of Red Bull. You go and you drink it, you're hyped up, you're excited, you're jumping up and down, but you have no understanding why. You come out, you get the buzz down, you go into the real world and you go down further than you were before.
Crash.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, if you have something that is the right tool set for you, but somebody has to understand, you have to seek, or you have to have a mentor who can look at you and be like, yes, let's ask you questions, let's talk, let's understand. Yes, this is what you need for the person you are to get you to that next level, to get you to the next level, to get you to the next level. So different successes need different tools for different parts of the job, for different people, because everybody's different. You can't get one candy cutter and just be like, okay, here you go, and hand it out to everybody. Because some people are going to be like, yes, I get it. Some people are going to be like, what is this? Some people are going to be like, mine's just broken, They're not going to get it because people are different. Yeah. And when you understand how different people are, sometimes you're in a position where you have to do it to a carpet blank everybody and see who it hits, just because you have to get to a large group of people. But when you can understand people more, you have more of a different selection of people who are speaking to the same crowd. You have more of a success rate of impacting people where they are, because you have to meet people where they are. And that's where emotional intelligence comes into it.
Yeah.
Having emotional intelligence to be able to feel the emotion of somebody's reactions and actions and what it is they need to be able to move forward and change things in their life.
Yeah. So it seems like, from what you said, like implementation. So gaining the knowledge, not through reading, through other means, and then applying that.
I mean, it could be reading, but it could be if that person is reading's their jam, then by all means go for it, absorb that information.
Of course, I just mean for you,
yeah,
like
for me.
For what you've done, it seems like you've just been finding out this information, applying it, finding it out, applying it, finding it out, applying it.
Yeah.
That's
testing it out, seeing if it works. Because listen, the best person who can tell me what's right for me is me. Right?
Definitely.
I'm because if something's not feeling right to me, can I do it?
Shouldn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now there may be another way to achieve the same results. Should I seek it? Yes. Yeah. So what somebody says to me, I can implement it. I could be like, this is not right for me. This is not who I am. I don't do things that way. But I have to know myself. I have to be self-aware first and foremost to be able to understand that information. Or if I take it and I realize this is not me, I'm now self-aware to that this is not the way I can do it. There's many paths to success. There's different variances of success to each different person. So to be able to understand that and be like, yes, this is the right path for me. This is the right thing. Yes, I get this. I understand it. Because it creates an emotion in you which helps unlock those doors and bring things to you.
Yeah.
Helps you understand things. Helps you lock in the understanding and the knowledge into the experience of what you just did to take that step forward to the next level, right?
Yeah.
So each person is different.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to, that's what makes the world go around. That's the beauty of it. And when we understand each one of us is different, we have to be open to being self-aware of ourselves to understand what's right for me. What is my level of success, not society's success.
That means you said something very true.
I must have.
Here, let me.
Great stuff.
Yeah. So was that the catalyst?
You know, the catalyst. I think the catalyst just grew on me. Every time I failed, I think it was a situation of I'm in a position that when I fail, when I'm on the ground, I'm kind of looking at this and I'm like, why did that happen?
Yeah.
I question it. First question is why? Why? And when I have the why, then I'm like, okay, let me get back up. And then I get knocked down again. I'm like, okay, well, this and this happened. Why did this happen? I always look back on it and think, why? How can I make it better? You know, how did I get to this position? And then I have to get back up again because the only choice is you lay back down and be like, okay, let me just take it.
So a question I would have, why don't you blame anybody?
What?
Because some people, they resort to that, right? It seems like you keep questioning yourself every time.
I spent a lot of time blaming other people. When I blamed other people, nothing got better. Because I realized when I blamed other people, they couldn't make me better. It went the opposite way around. There was more negativity that I was bringing to myself because I was like, why did they do that? Why did they do that? Why did this happen? Why did they make this happen? So now I have this persistent anger, negativity, which just kept me in the same place. Just kept on bringing me more of the same.
Yeah.
And the moment when I realized about my father's situation, that it's on me. You know, I haven't looked at myself to change this. That's when I introverted my look. And when I started to introvert my look to look at me and I became self-aware, that's when I realized I got to question myself. When I questioned myself, I started questioning myself about my past and I started looking at certain things. And yes, there were definitely other things that people did, which, you know, they were at fault. But, you know, if I hold on to it, it's going to stay with me. You have to release. Sometimes it takes longer because we're humans. Now, nobody has this cookie cutter. Yeah, there you go, it's gone. Yeah. You know, sometimes it takes longer to release things than other people, or certain situations take longer to release than other things. But so long as you're on that consistent and you're replacing more positivity than the negative, eventually it shines lights into different area that you're like, okay, I'm ready to let that go. I'm ready to let that go. And if I'm the only person who can make the decisions for my life, I should be the only person who can change my life. Do I still have a lot of faults? Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I still have a ton of faults. I'm human. Sometimes, you know, I backslide. Sometimes, you know, I don't take my own advice. But then when I do, I realize, man, I should just take my own advice. I should have done that. Or sometimes I should listen to somebody else. And sometimes they elevate me to, oh, that's why that happened. I thought I understood. But then they elevate me. So it's this constant perpetual growth. But blaming other people is easier to do. Do I still do it till today? Yes, sometimes. Do I stop and catch myself? Sometimes. You know, because I don't believe there's any perfection of perfection. I don't think anybody because we're human, we're always every day in this roller coaster ride of understanding, of knowledge, of mindset, of the why we do's, why we don'ts, of the positivity and the anger. And here's a reason why. yin and yang, darkness and light.
Yeah.
They have to coexist, and they coexist in us because a lot of the time what we're seeking for is perfection. We're seeking for, I want to live the Zen lifestyle. I want to be happy all the time. I want to be perfect. I want to have success. I want to have this. We're seeking for all these things, whereas throughout human history, the only thing that has made us grow is adversity.
Yeah.
Look at the human history. The only thing that has brought us to the place that we are in now is adversity, is the push, is the grind, is the pressure. Those things are the things that have spurned us to take the next step forward, the next leap forward, the next step, the next leap. But it's that constant, the moment everything becomes perfect, we stop growing and we start dying. So long as we have that consistent pressure, and this is the thing that society is trying to get out of. Society is like, oh, I don't want the pressure. I don't want the problems. I don't want the pain. I don't want the anguish. Well, no, you got it. Because the moment you get perfection and you get bliss and happiness and euphoria, you start to die because you have nothing else that's pushing you forward.
Yeah.
But the moment you still have that pressure, you have that grind, embrace it. Because we're trying to push it away is the reason why people get depressed. People suffer. People are, because they're trying to get that level of perfection. I want this greatness in my life. No, when you accept that this has to exist and it coexists with this, you accept this better. You accept the darkness better. You accept the problems better. And you think, how can I do better? I understand this will always be a part of my life. Because it's who I am, it's who we are, it's how we exist, it's how we've come to where we've come to.
Yeah.
The moment we stop that, we start to suffer. But we're also suffering because we're like, we don't want that. And that isn't who we are.
Yeah.
We don't exist as humans that way. We don't grow that way. So when we understand that, yes, there's problems, there's issues. This is life. This is never, ever going to go away. Because if you find a person who's ultra rich, who's ultra success, he just has more problems than your standard average person. Doesn't go away.
Yeah.
Just changes hands and magnitude.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And magnitude. That's a big thing.
Now you got somebody else. It's like you've got people who are living in welfare, you know, who are living in the ghettos, who are addicted to crack. Mm-hmm. Okay? They have that major issue, but people say, because you're poor, because you're in the situation, you know. But then you got CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies who are addicted to crack.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Same situation, but people will give different reasons why it happens.
Yeah.
But when we understand that you have the yin and yang and both have to coexist, and you have to embrace and accept, and you have to embrace and accept and put together and say, this is part of life. This is part of what makes it go around. Mm-hmm. This is what brings us around. This is how we got to where we are today. And smile about it and let the failures be the joys, because they are the learning. This is the learning book to help you enjoy the happiness.
Yeah.
Let me learn and understand from these failures how to do better. Never ends, never will end. The magnitude just changes. It's a thermostat. Depending on where you are, depends on where your thermostat is, because your mindset determines your thermostat. Mm. Right?
So then, when you say that, your mindset depends. How do you? Is it good to have a high thermostat or a low thermostat?
Your thermostat is where you're at, is your level of belief. Mm. Okay? So if I said to you today, in 2 years' time, you could be making 10 million a year, what's your initial reaction right now?
It's amazing.
No, what is your initial reaction? Not amazing. It's like, yes, I believe it, or no, I don't.
Oh, yes.
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 Okay? Why do you believe that? Now, I can say it and you can be like, yes, or you can truly believe it.
Okay.
Do you truly believe in 2 years' time you could be making 10 million?
Yes.
Why?
Because of what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I feel like, well, in terms of like my own life, like mm-hmm. what I'm doing, things can change very fast mm-hmm. when you're in the, I guess you want to say like media space, mm-hmm. influencer space. Mm-hmm. And plus, before I did all this, there was a time where I focused heavily on business. So as much as I'm a creative, I never thought I would be a creative, mm-hmm. so I focused on business heavily. Mm-hmm. So I have a very good business mind, mm-hmm. as well as a creative.
Yeah.
So I know that things can and change that way.
So with your knowledge, your understanding, and your experiences, in your mind, you believe that with the business acumen you have and being in the media space that you're in, that you understand that things can move at hyper speed and you can get catapulted levels above that usually most people would take years to get to. And you could easily get to the point that you could be making 10 million a year.
You said that so much better than I did. Yeah, that.
Yeah, that. But the point being is that you have that belief because of your understanding, your thermostat. So let's talk about your financial thermostat right now. Your financial thermostat is a lot higher than most people's because you believe it, because you understand the space. Okay. Now, if I was to turn around to a factory worker and say, you could be making 10 million in 2 years, what do you think they would say?
They would think of the whole structure of how a factory and everything works, and they'd be like, no, bullshit.
Because of where they're at, their environment will dictate their thermostat to them. So if it dictates their financial thermostat, because most people will only believe that they can make 1 to 2 times more than they already make. So if somebody's making 10 grand, they believe they can make 20 or 30 grand. If you say you can make 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, they'll be like, the more it gets, the further it gets, the more they'll be like, nah. Because their financial thermostat isn't there. Because people who make very little money think in hundreds. People who make hundreds think in thousands. People who make thousands can believe tens of thousands. People who believe in tens of thousands can believe in hundreds of thousands. People who do in hundreds of thousands, you see it go up.
Yeah.
The financial thermostat can go to the next level. Okay? But it can't go any further than that because they don't see it yet. It's like a car when it has its headlights in fog or at nighttime. You can only see so far. But the belief is, if I continue and I can only see this space in front of me, if I continue along this, I'll get from where I am to my destination. You believe it. But you can only see that far in front. How do you know? It's the belief. That's where your thermostat comes. Now, once you turn around and you put somebody in a position where they're making tens of thousands, now they can believe hundreds of thousands. You just leveled up their financial thermostat.
Yeah.
So let's say if you took a factory worker and you gave them a show on here about factory working and they became an influencer and people started offering things and they started making like, oh, listen, we'll pay you 10 grand today, we'll pay you 10 grand today, we'll pay you 10 grand. And that happened. Do you think that factory worker can now believe I can make 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, right?
Yeah.
You just increased his financial thermostat. Belief thermostats are different for different people compared to the environment they're in. It's all about the belief.
So this is like similar to like frame of reference.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You put somebody in the belief of it, they can achieve it. What you believe, you can achieve. But if you don't believe it, now you could earn 10 million a year because you believe that that can happen because of the space you're in. But if you turn to somebody else, now if you explain to them how it can happen, that they believe it, now chances are they're going to be able to do it because now they're financial thermostat. Now you're living your life like I can do that.
Yeah.
Now you'll go and do it. You know, if you tell them they can make 100,000 a year, they'll make 100,000 a year if they believe it. If you tell them you can make 10 million a year, they'll make 10 million a year because they believe it. It all comes from this keyword belief. Belief is the key to everything. Either you believe you can or you believe you can't. Now that's generally given by conditioning. But if we can break our own conditioning through self-awareness and we believe we can, sometimes you have to borrow somebody else's belief. And when you can borrow somebody else's belief until you get your flame of belief ignited, now once you have that flame of belief, nobody can tell you you can't, right?
Yeah.
Because if I say, okay, move this car from here to here, and you're like, no, I can't, I've never driven my life, no, I don't know how to do it. And then I say, okay, just do this, do this, do this, and you get in the car and you move it, can anybody ever tell you you can't move that car from A to B?
Yeah.
Because you did it.
Yeah.
Now you have belief.
You have evidence.
You have evidence, and that's what belief is. Belief is the evidence of you can. And once you have the belief that you can, but what made that person get in the car to do it in the first place? Because I told you to. So you have mindset belief. Okay, told me, I believe I could do that. Now that belief that you could got you in the car in the first place. Steps, right? Once you got into it, now you have to have the courage of belief to be able to turn it on and actually take the steps. And then once you start doing it and you start taking that, you have more and more belief. You have that confidence that, oh, it's doing everything it said it was supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to that point and you drop it off and you're like, I did it. Your thermostat, your belief thermostat's just increased.
Yeah.
Now, at that level, whatever it is at that level, nobody can tell you you can't. Because you already did it.
Yeah.
Now, taking you to the next level, because you've already got that little flame ignited, it's easier to take you to the next level now. Because you can't say that you didn't know how to do that.
Okay.
So taking you to the next level is going to jump you up because you're like, well, I didn't think I could do that, but because I could, I might be able to do this too.
So then, like, coming from me, like, my morning routine, I go heavily with visualization. So does this lend itself to that? Like, let's say you don't have anybody to give you that evidence, but you can visualize it very clearly. Would that increase this thermostat that we're talking about?
Absolutely. There's different ways that we can get that belief. Again, it's like church. Some people listen to ministry online.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily there, but they listen to it online, and if it's powerful enough, it will have an energy transference of belief. Okay? Same if you're listening to a motivational speaker or a personal development speaker, or you're reading a book or something. There's different ways, different stimuli that can give you that belief and increase that. But once you have the belief, the key thing to do is you can have the belief, but how do you lock it in?
Yeah.
You can only lock in the belief by taking the action.
So it's like, I believe I can, but now you have to, like, so, okay, so, like, I'm going to apply it to myself again. It's free therapy for me. So I have my affirmation of being a motivational speaker, speaking engagement every month of the year in 2019. So then from there, I have to take the action. I have to actually just step into it and drive that car from A to B, basically.
Absolutely. What you want to do is be good at sucking. Be good at being as bad as you need to be, but having the faith and the confidence to know that it's not the beginning, but the end that matters.
Yes.
It's the journey.
Okay.
Now you can say, listen, this is what I want to do. This is my plan. Great. You have a plan. Now what? You don't have a plan. You have a wish. You have a wish board. Okay? Because there's thousands, hundreds of thousands and millions of people on this planet who sit in wishes. All you have is a wish. Means nothing. Your affirmations mean nothing until you take the step to do something.
Yeah.
Now, the moment you reach out to 3, 4, 5, 6 people, whoever, who do speaking competitions or do whatever, okay? You may not be up there for the competition. You may be up there for the experience.
Yeah.
Find it. Contact them. Say, how do I get on your stage? How do I do it? Okay? I got something to talk about. I'm going to talk about my life. Okay? This is what I'm going to do. And get on there. Do it. Then self-reflect. How did that go? Get some feedback. What did you think of it? And think, how can I make it better? How can I make it better? How can I make it better? Then do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. The best teacher is repetition.
Yeah.
Repetition is the mother of all teachers. Get out and do it. I've read this saying once, I'm not afraid of the person. This is actually by Bruce Lee. I'm not afraid of the person who knows, 200 moves. I'm afraid of the person who's practiced one.
Yeah.
Right?
Over and over.
You go and you do it. Every time you have an affirmation, say, this is what I'm going to do. It's not anything until you've done something about it. It's just a wish. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do this. Because how long have you been saying that affirmation for?
Me, it's only been a week, actually.
Okay.
I started the 1st of December, actually.
Okay. So in that week, the moment it came to your mind, you should have found out. Take action. Because how much money does it cost you to take action upon the affirmation?
Oh yeah, nothing. Like my way of taking action, I guess I could have took more action, but I started looking into where I could speak. That was the thing that I did. I'm like, okay, I've had a big brother in my life, like the Big Brother program. So I'm like, maybe I can go speak there. Like maybe they need somebody to do that. And I just thought of like different things that I could do like that.
Now, what I would say, throw some nos on that.
Some knots?
Some nos.
Okay.
NOS. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Throw some NOS in that. Just ignite the flame.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why. The longer you take to take the action whilst nobody knows, the longer you have for it to fade away.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay? If you came to the thought pattern and you've done it for like 2 days, like, okay, who can I contact? Let me contact him and ask him. Because you had the thought pattern, but have you made a call?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I called the Big Brother place, yeah. But that was it. That was the only place. There's like 5 other places that I could call.
So jump on it.
Yeah.
Make the call. Because it doesn't cost you any money.
Yeah.
It's not really costing you too much time.
Not at all.
But what it's doing is locking you in.
It's starting the car.
It's starting the car. Once you're locked in to the activity of the action, and you keep on until you're like, who's next? Who's next? Who's next? You see it. Who's next? See it. Who's next? See it. Who's next? And you keep on that consistent, persistent action. Like there's no tomorrow. Somebody's going to say yes. Run at it.
Yeah.
I posted up something on Facebook with the new Jordans came out.
Okay.
Okay. And somebody had shown a video and it was on the news or something where these people were ramming past each other like it's Black Friday. Okay, trying to get these Jordans and they were pushing past each other, climbing on. There was fights, there was this, there was people snatching out of each other. And I took that video and I put it on my post feed and I said, if only people ran at their lives like they do for Jordans. Right?
Yeah.
Because people are running in to do what? They're not going there to be like, I wish I could have those. It's an action step, right?
They're getting them.
They're going in there not to hope. They're going in with a definiteness of purpose. I am going to get me. It's single-minded, laser focus. This is going to happen.
Yeah.
They never thought about it. It wasn't a wish. Or, I mean, do an affirmation. But it's great to have affirmations. But if you're not acting on your affirmations from day one, what is it? It's a wish list.
Definitely.
Be like you're going out to get those Jordans.
Yeah.
Act upon it and be like, who can I contact today? Who can I research and find and contact today? Who can I research and find and contact today? And then go back to the other people. Hey, listen, did you think about that? Make it happen because, listen, this is when you get it locked in. The moment you step up on that stage, it's locked in.
100%.
The moment you step on that stage, it's locked in. I said that to somebody who I interviewed once, and they were like, I need to do something. And I said, you need to get onto this. Go do it.
Yeah.
They contacted and said, yes, it's the perfect thing for me. Great. And they wanted to get up and they had some people who said some nasty things to them. They're like, I'm scared. And I couldn't be there, but they wanted me to be there. And they're like, I'm scared to get up. I'm having doubts in myself. And so I just gave them a pep talk. Right. Charged them up. Like, I'm ready to rock this stage. And I saw the video of the speech and it was like, wow. It was like, wow, you rocked that stage. But it was a competition. They didn't win the competition, but it wasn't about the competition.
Yeah,
It's about getting on the stage and doing it. Because when you can do that, immediately find out when the next one is. Find out when the next one is. What can I do to get more out? Because the more you'll do it, the more you'll understand it, the more you'll feel it, the more you'll resonate with it, the more you'll enjoy it.
The more you'll do it.
The more you'll do it. And then you'll have more topics to talk about.
Let me know if there's any competition. I've never heard of a speaking competition before.
Dude, let me tell you about something. A good friend of mine, Rena and Dan, they have something called Speaker Slam.
Oh.
Huge. It's amazing. One of the best platforms out there. I've watched them go from their beginning stages to where they're at now.
Yeah.
Now they have gold casts who are picking up their videos. And pushing them out from Speak or Speak. One of the best things out there. Beautiful for Ontario, for Canada. It's going to be huge. It's already huge and it's going to be a beast. But this space for people to get onto who've never spoken, who have the want to speak, it's amazing. So anybody who listens to this, if you want to be a speaker and you want to find a place to get on to test market yourself and get better at what you do, reach out to Rena and Dan for Speaker Slam, and they have these different topics at times, and see when they can get on. And
wow,
beautiful, amazing. But yes, you reach out to them.
I will.
And see if you can get onto one of their speaking competition things. But it's amazing platform.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it's huge. It's going to be a beast. It's going to be an absolute beast. So proud of them, what they've done.
That's amazing. I actually think my friend Brian Hardy is actually speaking.
I know Brian.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Brian Hardy's done that. Yeah.
Yeah, he has, right? Yeah, because he invited me to some another engagement where he'll be speaking.
Okay.
And I think that's some kind of, I think it's the Global Changemaker.
Global Changemaker with Marcus Mendoza, another friend of mine. Yeah.
I think so. I think so.
Marcus has got huge things. It's amazing watching these people. Because I interviewed Marcus was actually the second person who I interviewed in my show.
Oh, really?
And just watching him from there and watching to what he's become is, again, there's like no ceiling on these people. Mm-hmm. Their growth is going to be huge. Again, purely because they're delivering value to people. It's not about how much money can I make. It's about delivering the value. The money will come, and they understand the finances of it. But they're out there helping people and giving platforms and spaces for real change. And this is all about value, 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 value. And when you have people doing things of value, it cannot help but to explode in the way they're exploding. Now, Marcus Mendoza has created this Global Changemakers, and he's putting this thing together. And again, it's in its infancy right now, but he's taking all his knowledge and his expertise and what he does and implementing it into it. This is going to be a beast. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. You know, it's going to be one of those things that people will be talking about for years. And it's just going to have a global impact.
Wow.
But, you know, these people all came from a place of servitude. How do we serve people? How do we help people? How do we change people? How do we deliver value to people and pull value out of people and giving them the platform to do what they do best?
Yeah.
So these things are amazing, amazing, amazing.
I like that. I like that a lot. Back to the whole living in service.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that mindset is like really propelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, the world has seen so much materialism and greed that there's a new mindset. I mean, we had this conversation earlier that people used to do business through bartering. Do you have something that you can offer me that I can give to you?
Yeah.
Do you have experience on what it is you do that you can offer to me? And then it went to the point of everything was education and certificate based. You know, do you have the education? Do you have the qualifications based all around that? Now the work world has changed. And if people don't realize it's changed, realize it's changing, because either you're going to get left behind and you're going to suffer, or you're going to be able to change with it, because nothing is ever stagnant. Nothing ever stays. Once upon a time, there was a 40 hours a week for 40 years and you get all the protection. Now it's every 4 to 6 years people are changing a job. But now companies and businesses are aware of that, and because of the employment kind of laws and how stringent they're getting, everything's changing to the respect of, okay, let's hire these people, let's give them bonuses, let's give them this, but let's kind of not give them a whole bunch of stuff, you know, so that they don't have to put money into them to train them and to educate them and to keep them on for 40 years, because you're not going to get that value out of people anymore, because they're going to bounce in 4 to 6 years time to another company. So you're going to train them up, get them better, give them the experience so they can get a better job for more money somewhere else.
Yeah.
So companies aren't willing to do that anymore. So they're saying, do you have the experience? Now, at the moment, do you have the qualification and the experience?
Yeah.
But eventually it's going to be like, well, forget the qualifications. Do you have the experience?
Yeah.
So if you have the experience, you can outbid somebody who's got the qualifications but no experience, because experience is the thing of, we can get you into the position that we need you in, and you can get rocking and rolling, and we can just enhance what you know, because we understand we only have a period of time with you.
Yeah.
That's the way the world works now. Now it's getting back to that whole, do you have what I need? And I'll give you what you need. But now, though, there's never been more entrepreneurs on the planet than has been now.
Yeah.
So many things are going entrepreneur based, because people understand that job security doesn't exist.
You think that's the reason?
100%. Job security doesn't exist because of everything that's going on. So people understand that sometimes that they're being utilized for a period of time. It's getting more into the basis of, you know, when you make movies, okay, you have all these freelancers everywhere, and then when you make a movie, you bring them all together. The people have all the experience to be able to make the movie, and you're like, thanks, scatter. So now there's going to be projects, and then people are going to be freelance hired, brought together for that particular thing. They're going to be paid their money. They'll be like, great, see ya. And then when the next one comes, they're going to bring those people back, or they're going to go to another place. And this is how things are going to work. People are going to be brought together with different skill sets and experiences to come together to do the job, get paid that fee, and then have a nice day, move on.
Yep.
And just see their little bucket.
Yeah.
When people look at their own lives through a magnifying glass and look at their life in a little bucket, this is me. This is my microcosm. This is
Yeah.
to my ecosystem, they lose what's happening in the global space. Okay? And when you lose what's happening in the global space, you get outbid, you get outworked, you know, all these things that change, you don't see the change because you're used to where you're at, and you see your little bubble. Like, no, I'm comfort. You're sitting in your comfort zone. Don't see me. You know. But as the world changes, then you're in a situation that you're going to be forced to change, or you're going to suffer. So we have to take steps back to look at the global change, what's happening, because I live on the same planet that all of this is happening on.
Yeah.
So either I'm part of it or I'm going to suffer. So when you look at the global thing and you see the changes, then you have a better understanding of what it is you need to do. Because here's the problem. You hide yourself in a bubble, you sit in that comfort zone, what are you going to teach your kids? Because if the world's changing, you say, no, just hide with me. Just look in here, just stay in here, okay? And they don't see it, they're the ones who are going to suffer more than you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you say, hey, kids, and I say this to my kids, stand back, look at the world, understand it's so much bigger than this.
Yeah.
And this movement shapes what happens in this.
Yeah.
So you have to be fluid. You have to be fluid. You have to understand that things change. And when you can see the change before it happens, you start moving in that direction before it gets there.
Yeah, definitely.
And when you can do that, it means you're always ahead of the game. And you have to be, because it was a lot more competitive. And as it becomes more skill set based, it's going to get even more competitive. But you have more entrepreneurs now than ever, because when people need that balance. So they're like, okay, well, let me do something that I'm passionate about. Or they say, okay, let me help supplement my income with this side business. And hopefully it'll take up enough that I can just do that full time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what my mom did as things were changing. At like 60, she's just like, I'm just going to start a business because I don't like working these jobs. It was just, and then she did it.
She changed. That's it. Doesn't matter what age you are.
Yeah, she just
as long
adapted.
as you're willing to change and adapt and move and stay fluid, you know, you don't snap.
Yeah, yeah.
But you have to teach that to the next generation too.
Yeah, that was my big inspiration to start my own thing. So she taught that. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was something, because it worked, and I was like, wow, she just did that.
And most people who can make things work are people who don't know how to do it, but just do it and learn along the way.
Yeah.
Because if you learn along the way, first of all, you're not put into a box. You don't have any blueprint of, oh, okay, let's do it this way. You know, this, because when you can think outside of the box, you're a lot more pliable.
Yeah.
You don't snap as easy.
There's a lot more space.
There's a lot more space because you have. That's why I say it's like some of the best musicians in the world are musicians who have never been to music school.
Yeah.
Because when you go to music school, you get put in this box unless you have a strong character to break out of that. But usually it's like, okay, well, here's the letters, here's the notes, here's the this, here's the tempo, here's the this. So you're given this framework. Okay, so I only work within this framework. Bam, bam, bam. You have somebody who doesn't know, it's just freelance. And I'll outpace them like, man, I got this.
Yeah.
Creativity. They create something different and beautiful, and people are like, whoa, what's that?
Yeah.
Same in business, same in art, same in everything else. If you don't have the box, and the reason why I don't listen to too many motivational speakers or read too many books and so on and so forth, because I don't want the box. I don't want the framework.
Yeah. Yeah.
I understand things through experience and so on, but I don't want the framework. Don't put me in a box, because if I see a way out there, I'm going to take that. If I have to bend this, I'll bend this. If I do things to create something unique and different enough to create impact.
Yeah, I do that with video a lot. I used to be around the filmmaker, and he'd like try and teach me things. I'd be like, I don't want to learn the rules, because then like I'll remember it and I'll keep trying to do it. So
that's the killer of creativity. Creativity is not following rules. Creativity is, let's try this.
Yeah.
Right? Let's see if this works. Let's put a light behind the plant and see what shadows it goes out to give a different effect. Try it. See it. That's how innovation happens. See, either you can fall in line and do what everybody else does, but if you do what everybody else does, you now pick up the crop.
Yeah.
But if you do what not everybody else does, you stand out.
Yeah.
And in this world, it becomes a competition. Why should I take you to do my videography? Because you stand out. The way you do it, it's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can be different, you stand out. If you stand out, chances are you're going to get picked a lot more than the other person.
Yeah, it's very true. Because like what I do with videography is I learn the business that I'm like going to the person for. Most videographers don't. They'll just like show their stuff, but I'll like learn the business, and then my pitch will be based on the business. And they'll be like, "Oh, he knows the business." Like I identify with
you
this
have
person.
to come and stand. You have to go in and stand on their side.
Yeah.
Because if you're talking to them, trying to pitch them, whereas instead you're standing with them with your arm around them, saying, "I get you. I know what you're looking for, and I can deliver."
Yeah. Exactly.
That's a different pitch. You're not selling. You're not selling at that point.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing, is when you have to convince and pitch, that's a salesperson thing. That's an amateur thing. When you're professional, you stand on their side. And you say, I see your vision.
Yeah.
Let me show you what your vision is, because I understand what it is you're looking for. Yeah. That's a different thing. You don't have to sell that. It's just an agreement process.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that validation there.
You're on the right path.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess to the questions that I don't even remember, let's go back to like everything that you're doing. Like I said, I saw like 4 different things. I saw the radio show and everything like that. What, I know you might have answered it like vicariously throughout the interview, but like what drives you to do all these things? Like, because right now it seems like you're involved in, I think, about 3 things at the same time.
Probably about 4 or 5 things.
There you go.
So here's, I mean, I'm blessed to have business partners. And one of them is my wife as well. She's she's a separate business partner in the business. So she's my partner, my partner. So it's great having her. So each one of us brings a different skill set.
Yeah.
We see things at different angles, and when we put it on, then we bring our own skill set to make it happen. So we own multiple companies. So we own a company called iWealthy, which stands for Innovative Wealth Education. Primarily, it's because the financial world, I think it's changing now, but generally financial world has been based on, okay, what can I get from you? You know, but that's a perception, okay, because the game's being played in the financial industry and the financial advisors have to play the same game because the bank owns the game. That, okay, you have to sell what we're telling you to sell, and you have to fit it into somebody because you have to get paid to get your commission so you can live the way you live. Okay, so you become a salesperson. The way we do it is we look at people. So we have enough companies behind us that deal with all different kinds of insurance, investments, mortgages, everything, that we don't focus on the company or what it is we're selling or what it is we have to provide the client. We focus on the client. So we're like, who are you? We ask the questions that people don't ask. Who are you? What is it? What is your wants, your hopes, and your dreams? Where is it you're trying to get to? What is it you always wanted to do in life that you feel you don't have the chance to do? Okay? When you find out what people really want, then you find out where they're at. Now you can see if you can help them.
Yeah.
Now the onus comes on us. Now we know what it is they truly in their heart want to do. Now we know where they are with their finances and where they need to go in order to be able to do that and have a successful end game. Let's go and find the stuff. So we go find the stuff, we put this whole package together, and only if we can deliver enough value to that person to give them what it is they need, not what we need. Again, take the money off the commissions. Take the money, take the focus off how much you can make. We focus on the person. Only if we can deliver enough value to you should you say yes. But within that process of going through that, we have to educate you. Because we speak to you in jargon, in a language that you don't understand, chances are you're going to be nodding, saying yes, but the lights aren't home, right? But most of the time I want to speak to you in jargon because I don't really want you to know what's going on.
Yeah.
But within this innovative wealth education, if we educate you and make sure you understand, so you're the one making the decision of what it is that you need to do, it means that you're involved in your finances, which is what you should be.
Definitely.
But you're saying yes to something you understand, which is why you're saying yes, which now there's no sales pitch. We're educating you on where you're at, on what it is we can do for you to get you where you need to. And if we've done a good enough job, you'll say yes.
Yeah.
Now, if you've been taken care of and you're happy with that, what are you going to do? You're going to refer us to other people.
Of course.
Right? Because we did what we're supposed to do with morals, with pride, and doing it the correct way, and elevating who you are, but keeping you elevated the whole time. So consistently being with you. So we have that. We have Valco Media. Valco Media is a graphic design company that designs apps, websites, graphic designs, business cards, pretty much anything to do with that kind of flavor, videography, you know, marketing, anything you need Valco Media, we can do that there. Okay, so that's huge. Again, with that, it's delivering value because we're giving advice on what's best for you and your business to move it forward for it to be successful. Most media companies would be like, great, you know, well, we want you to be successful in this campaign.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Whereas we look at who are you? What's your business? Where's it at? What are you trying to achieve? Who are you trying to get to? So we look at the whole thing to try and give the best advice possible to make sure they have an overall win and a long-term sustainable win. Now, if we do well enough with that and they know that we've understood their business well enough, then they'll come back to us and say, I got the next thing on, or I have somebody else who needs something. Value. Okay, there has to be value in it. The other thing that we're in the process now, we have iWealthy, and iWealthy we have a lot of other things underneath. Again, crypto, a lot of people are very much like, oh, it's crypto, it's good, bad, ugly. So there's so many different thought patterns on it, but we created something called ICE, which is Innovative Crypto Education. Again, when people are educated in real English, in language that they can understand, and given a space, like a sandbox to play in, which is a safe area, to be like, okay, just play in this space to understand and gain knowledge and gain understanding. And through that, there's opportunities to make more money. I mean, people invest in stocks and bonds and Forex and so. There's no less risk in that than there is in crypto. Crypto's here to stay, but people don't understand. They understand stocks, they understand bonds, they understand Forex, they understand that more than they understand crypto, which is why they'll more put their money into those type of things than they will in crypto. All it is an understanding, but you have to deliver education, which is value first. Deliver value within, and once you understand, you deliver the value for free first, then people understand and they feel safe enough to say, yes, okay. The other thing we're doing is that we're launching a company called iHealthy, because without health, there is nothing.
Yeah.
We were very blessed to try out this program through somebody else. And we had to lose some weight. We don't like talking about weight loss. It's more like health gain. Because when you health gain, it's everything. It's about wellness, not about losing weight. If you lose weight, you've lost it and you're going to find it again, right? We want to create a health gain so that it's a larger picture of what it is. So we did this program to test it out, and it worked really exceptionally well, whereby people can lose 20 to 40 pounds plus in 6 weeks.
Really?
With no expensive shakes, no expensive pre-prep meals, and no exercise, okay? And people are like, how is that possible? We have people who have done it. Myself, my wife did it, my business partner did it. My business partner lost 56 pounds in 6 weeks.
Really?
It was amazing. You see the change, but this is all about retraining the body, retraining the mind, retraining education. And as people go through this, it's fantastic, but iHealthy is an umbrella that covers so many things. So it covers this health gain program. It covers also supplements. We have supplements. Most people use blind supplements. Okay, they're taking these supplements in and they're like, oh, this is what I need. How do you know this is what you need? You're an individual. You may not be able to absorb what it is you're absorbing. Okay, so basically it's just expensive urine.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. Okay.
It's pretty. It's pretty too.
It's pretty and pretty expensive in some cases. But what we have is that we have something which tailors you. So basically, what we do is that we do a DNA swab. We actually scan it through a machine that actually you scans your own DNA. It comes out with a barcode, okay, and then it will actually make your own supplement that's specifically bespoke designed for you.
Wow.
For absorption rate, for what it is that you need inside you. So you're getting exactly what you need at pretty much half the price if you were to go and get the proper ones, not just the cheap ones. To get the proper ones are actually going to do something, and you were to buy them from the stores, it's pretty much for half the price.
Wow.
So it's targeted supplements that are going to help you. So with the health gain of people losing 20 to 40 pounds in 6 weeks and getting them onto a different way of life, then having these supplements to help which are based off your DNA. And there's so many other things to help people along the way of life, to change who they are, to live a quality of life, to get better sleep, more energy, to have all the health they need to enjoy the wealth they can create.
Wow.
Everything's hand in hand. Everything's linked. Everything's together. To take the person, deliver value first, value, and elevate everybody. Because if your health, it's like the Holy Trinity, right? You have your health, you have your wealth, and you have your spirituality, whatever that means to somebody. You have all those things, because if any one of those is off balance, people don't feel right.
It's true.
When they all meet in the middle and they all link in, it's like the golden key. It just elevates everything up to the next level.
Definitely.
And people feel great. And when you feel great, you can do more, you can enjoy more, you can experience more. There's so much more to it. So the key to all of that, which is what our company's called, is called Valcore. Value is at the core of everything we do.
Such a smart name.
Thank you.
I wish I came up with that name. It's such a good name.
But that's it. Is value. Is value has to be at the core of every business, because if value's there, then it's great. And as I said, we tried this with another guy who we knew, who's rocking out, doing an amazing job. But we felt that we can take this to the masses. So what we do, we can take this to the masses. And the reason why we decided to take that route and do this is because we want to deliver value to as many people, because we understand through what happened to us, how many people can be helped. People who have diabetes, people who are sick, people who just don't feel great about themselves, people who are suffering with self-identity and confidence issues. If we can help in all these different areas and deliver value to people in different countries all around the world, should we do it? Yes. Because if you know it exists now and you don't do something with it, you see the difference. Now we know about it. It's that whole situation of now we've been schooled, now we know about it, now it's sitting in our head.
Yeah.
Now we have the knowledge. But do we do something with it, or do we just let it be?
Yeah. It's true.
We can let other people take it to other people, but we know that we have the platforms to take it to a lot of people. So is it our duty to do something? Yes, it is. So that's where we took the decision to go ahead, market it, do the things that we need to do, and that's actually in release right now. So we're excited seeing what's happened, but we already have some people on board who are losing some great weight and gaining health and changing their lifestyle and changing how they eat food and so on and so forth. And that value. If there's no value in something, we don't do it.
Yeah. That's a really good philosophy. I mean, I've heard so many people talk about that. Like, I listen to Tom Bilyeu a lot. He always talks about, like, when he switched his attitude from how can I be most profitable to how can I, like, serve my, like, truest 1,000 fans, like, how can I best serve them. He said, like, everything changed. He got happier. His motivations became a lot different. He was less aggressive, wasn't as angry. Like, just everything just changed. So. But
you got to do it to the, I mean, also, see, when you do these things and you take these decisions, you don't win a lot of fans. There's a lot of fans, but there's a lot of haters. Should you do it because somebody says to you, no, you shouldn't do it? No, absolutely, you should do it. Absolutely, 100%. You know, and we don't do things for people's benefit, for their warrant to say, oh, congratulations, well done.
Yeah.
No, it's for the individual. Each individual that gets something out of this, that benefits and elevates and lifts themselves and has hope, has optimism, increases their belief level and their thermostat.
Yeah.
That's what we want. And if they can do that, we've done something good in the world. And again, if an abundance of money flows from this, there's only so many Rolexes you can have.
Yeah, it's true.
Take the abundance and go and help people.
Yeah.
So if you're held back by the naysayers and the people like, well, you copied me, or you're doing this, or you're doing that, that's not the reason to stop. It's the reason to carry on. Because if you know that you can go out and you can help more people, go and help more people. If you're hurting people, that's a different ballgame. But if your only wish is to help people and change their lives, then absolutely don't let anybody stop you from doing what is right.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Huh. That's very good. I do know some of the questions that I had. And one is what does mindset mean to you?
What does mindset mean to me? Mindset is one of those golden keys as well. You know, mindset can make you or break you. Mindset is the yin and yang. You can have the right mindset, the wrong mindset. Or sometimes you can have a balance of the two. The wrong mindset can lead you to bad places, can lead you into negative thought pattern, can lead you into self-doubt, into a lack of confidence.
Yeah.
Can lead you into so many different areas. Positive mindsets, put in the right place, can be the opposite, can give you all of those things. So mindset is key, but mindset shouldn't live in your mind. Mindset has to be the idea of, here's my thought, here's my implementation, and the best use of a mindset is to pull it out of your mind and bring it into reality. Because the amount of people on the planet who have had a mindset of, I'm going to create something, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to, and then had the thought pattern, and then had somebody else beat them to it because they didn't take the action of it. You know, what good was that mindset?
Yeah.
You know, so action mindset, to have a mindset, a positive mindset, and to try and keep it that much, but to understand that there is a balance. The stronger you get, the more you exercise that muscle, the stronger one will get. And whichever way you focus that to will be, you know, where your attention is focused on,
Yeah.
is where your energy will flow to. So you have to look at, well, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the negative mindset or the positive mindset? If you see yourself focusing more on the negative mindset, then you may need to put yourself in check a little. Be like, okay, well, why am I focusing on that a lot? And how do I get out? Seek a mentor, look online. I mean, there's books, there's audio books, there's YouTube videos, there's internet, there's so many places, there's free libraries there. You know, go and find something, find a mentor, find somebody who you know, whatever the case may be. But if you hang around, here's one of the most powerful things I gotta say, is that the thing that helps influence and is the fertilizer of negativity is the people who we hang around. The fertilizer of negativity is the people who we hang around. The people who, now you got bad, fertilize the negativity, but also you can fertilize good, beautiful flowers and beautiful forests. The people you hang around can fertilize that too.
Yeah.
So be aware of who you're hanging around with. And sometimes we hang around with people and we hold on to them with so much strength that we don't want to let them go, but they're the catalyst that's keeping us where we're at.
Yeah.
Because it's like the law of the lid. Have you heard of the law of the lid?
No.
Okay, law of the lid, John C. Maxwell. You take a grasshopper, you put them in a bucket, okay, and you put the lid on, okay? You take the lid off, okay, they'll jump out. You put the lid on, and they keep on jumping, keep on jumping, keep on jumping. They'll hit the lid. Now, what it's doing is that's reprogramming their mind that I'm hitting this lid. Now, the grasshopper is trying to jump out, right?
Yeah.
But once you put the lid on for a certain period of time and it keeps on hitting that lid, the moment you take off the lid, the grasshopper can only jump, because now it's a learned habit, it can only jump that high.
Wow.
So even though there's nothing stopping it from jumping out, it won't be able to jump out because it's programmed its mind, I'm going to hit this lid. This is only how high I can jump.
Wow.
The law of the lid. When you realize that people are putting a lid on you and you learn how to jump only that high, okay? We have the situation in society that tries to keep you in the same place, okay? That there's so many sayings from different cultures that talk about stay where you're at. Don't stand above your station, you know?
Yeah.
Don't get above your station. Stay where you're at. You know, don't think you are more than you are. And many cultures have these different sayings to keep people where they're at. Why? Because in culture, most people lived in villages. They needed help with the cattle, with the work, with the stuff. If you have delusions of grandeur and you believe you can be more and you can go out somewhere, what? You've just lost somebody.
Yeah.
So culture and necessities created these situations. We need to keep you here because we need your help with the cattle, with the harvest with all these things. Oh, don't get a boat, stay here. You'll find this is who we are. This is what we are.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like people turn around and say, "Oh, marrying your cousins or marrying into your family, that's disgusting. That's disgusting." It was a necessity that still stayed in certain cultures. Because if you're in a certain place and you've built up cattle, you built up riches, and you built up what you need for your village, and you're like, okay, we're doing good.
Yeah.
And you marry your daughter off to somebody else in another village, you have to give a dowry, and they're gone. How do you keep that all within the same space, within the family? Marry your cousin, great. We're part of the same family. We all still increasing on the materials that we need. Keep it within the family. Right?
Yeah.
It's perception. But a lot of things that were necessity became culture and still stay today. But people believe these things. Break the mindset.
Yeah.
Break the mindset, unplug, and realize that a lot of things that we still do today are things that were created from out of necessity from the past.
Wow.
And when we understand this, we understand we no longer have to hold to those things.
Jeez. I like that. That was amazing. Man, this was a lesson in entrepreneurship and public speaking.
Thank you.
I didn't think it'd be both. Where can people find your content, your companies, everything like that? Where can they find you guys online before I ask my last question?
Okay, so they can gain more information about iHealthy by either going to iHealthy on Facebook, or they can request more information if somebody's looking for some health gain to drop some pounds in 6 weeks. We actually have a special on right now, 50% discount. So they can go to iHealthy.com and request some more information there. Okay. iWealthy, again, they can go to the iWealthy website, but better place to find us is on Facebook, to the iWealthy. That's Wealth and E at the end, and iHealthy is iHealth with a small E at the end.com. So they go to those, they can find us. Can reach out to me, Brandon V on Facebook as well, or Brandon Vidalingam, spelled Vydelingum, hence the Brandon V.
Yeah.
They can find me there, and I'm always happy to reach out. You know, I love when people reach out to me. We'll happy to give information or just connect. Yeah. You know, amazing to do those things. I will be starting something a little, special next year, which I'll be putting out some information on. But yeah, reach out to me on Facebook. I'm happy to connect with anybody. Say that they saw me on this particular podcast, and I'll definitely accept your friend request and reach out to you to say hi and say thank you.
Amazing. Look at that. All right. So the last question for me was, if you could give any advice to anyone who is an entrepreneur just starting out, just starting their journey, because the journey is where it's at. And everything. What would that advice be?
I think the advice is be aware first and foremost why it is you want to do what you want to do. If you are sure of the fact of there is value and merit in what you want to do, then you will never give up. Now, you can have professionals, people who are very successful, tell you that you can't do it. But if your passion and your reason for doing it is strong enough, and you have a definiteness of purpose, you will achieve it no matter what anybody says to you. It is doable. You just have to have the correct passion. If you're doing it for money's sake, there's a chance that it could fail. But if you're doing it for the right reason and you truly believe in it, and nothing's going to stop you, go for it. Give it everything you have. Seek mentorship. Seek to learn things. Seek to understand things in your own way.
Yeah.
But understand it in your own way and implement it in your way. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it.
Wow. Timing. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
My absolute pleasure.
And he came from a far away, just so anybody knows. He came from Milton.
Yeah.
That's no joke of a drive. I always try to do it in person because it's just such a better, it's just a better energy.
Yeah.
And I always like the eye contact more, and I
Absolutely.
like the flow of the conversation more for everybody watching.
Yeah.
It just, as you said, as it's been like the vein of the conversation, it provides more value.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, man.
My absolute pleasure. My absolute pleasure. Thank
great
you for having me.
Fantastic. All right, guys. If you liked what you saw, please, what is it? Like, share, subscribe. I'm a YouTuber now, so I got to remember those things. Like, share, subscribe. And please check out Brandon. Check out everything that he's doing.
Also, leave some comments.
Yeah. Comments below. Definitely. If this resonated with you, comment. Comment your favorite part of the conversation. Your favorite insight that Brandon gave you. Comment that below. And that's it. This is the process. Episode 1 since we switched gears. That's a pretty big thing. You know what this is going to turn into, right?
Wow. Episode 1.